Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2003 Volkswagen Passat GL. Up front is a 1.8-liter turbocharged inline-4, and down below is a 5-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Passat because I haven't driven a Passat of this era. I'm always kind of fascinated by Volkswagens, and so today we're going to be checking out this one. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 1.8-liter turbocharged inline-4 under the hood. Well, that is a pretty bread and butter engine for Volkswagen and the Volkswagen Group in general, especially in this era. It makes good power. However, something I found very interesting about this generation of Passat is the fact that you could have gotten this with a 4-cylinder turbo or diesel. You could find them with a 6-cylinder, and you could find them with the W8. I don't know of many vehicles that actually span 3 different cylinder configurations. Normally it's V6, V8, or inline-4 and V6, or V8 and V12, or V8 and V10, but this actually had 3 different setups for that, so I find that kind of interesting. Like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission, nothing really too crazy here. It's shifting the gears and working pretty well. And last but not least, of course, the Passat is front-wheel drive. However, they did offer it in 4Motion with the 6-cylinder and later with the 4-cylinder, which would be all-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Volkswagen Passat? Well, eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed that I'm not actually driving right now. I am currently on the back of a Ford Excursion, so let's get it off the trailer and see for ourselves. How's it look?
Looks good. Keep going.
Nice. All right, so let's see how it drives. I thought it'd be fun for the bit. It honestly doesn't drive in any cool, interesting, or relatively good fashion. It's fine. It's not a bad driving experience, but the 1.8-liter T definitely leaves a little bit to be desired, especially in a bigger vehicle like this. I can totally see how the 6-cylinder or even the 8-cylinder would be such a worthy upgrade for this vehicle. It just kind of feels like a Jetta that had a really big lunch, and at the end of the day, it's not really far off from what it actually is. But that's fine. You know, it's a pretty simple and straightforward car, and we're going to talk a lot about that with the final thoughts segment. But visibility is fine, ride quality is fine as well. But again, I definitely want one of those bigger power plants here in the Passat. Here we go. Ooh. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. I promise I don't have any more trickery up my sleeve for today's video. And in front of me, I have 4 gauges. So off to the left is the tachometer, in the center is the fuel and coolant temperature, and off to the right is the speedometer. On the steering wheel, we do get the airbag, but that's it. This was a very, very basic trim level of the Passat, so no crazy cruise control or anything like that sticking off the front. And off to the left, we do have a climate control vent and our headlight switch. And moving out of the door, we have power mirrors that are also heated. Kind of interesting to see that. That's actually a really nice feature. Lock and unlock, power windows, and that's it. Moving into the center, we have 2 climate control vents, and we have our radio. We have the rear defrost and hazard switch on either side. We have the ASR button. And climate controls down below. Nothing really to see there. Temperature off to the left, fan speed in the center, where to send it off to the right. Again, all pretty standard operating procedure when it comes to those. We do get an ashtray and cigarette lighter. We get the shifter in the center, and we do have cup holders that barely fail the big friggin' bottle test. I'm talking barely fail the big friggin' bottle test. A little bit of Dremel work would probably make them fit, but that's not the spirit of the test itself. Then we do have the handbrake, center console, and the seats. The seats are cloth. The GL, again, a very non-specific, non-exciting version of the Passat, and so it gets the cloth seats, which I think actually aged pretty well. And just cloth seats in general tend to hold up a little bit better than the crappy 90s leather seats we were getting at the time. So it's cool there, but otherwise, very forgetful seats and a rather forgetful automobile as a whole. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back of the 2003 Volkswagen Passat GL, and first thing you'll notice right away is, of course, the cloth seats do carry on back here. Don't mind the hole that is getting only bigger in my pants. Closing this up here. Oh, this ain't attached anymore. Whoops. I am actually pretty happily surprised with the amount of space up front. My knees are not hitting the seat in front of me, and they have several inches before they even would touch the seat in front of me. So very, very nice. We do have, oh, that's kind of interesting, a very unique cigarette lighter / 12-volt outlet back here. I've never seen it quite like that. But down below it, we do have, I assume, cup holders that don't want to come out. All right, if anyone could sound off in the comments on what this is. It does not want to play nice with me here today, but we do have a center console that has some cup holders found in there as well, so your cup holder needs will be met. Again, I don't know about this. Maybe that's an ashtray. I assume an ashtray if that's a cigarette lighter. Anyway, headroom is good as well. I fit back here, and as we'll talk about later, you know, sort of the natural progression was Golf, Jetta, Passat, Phaeton, so this has plenty of space. The Jetta of this era, it's not bad. It has some space. The Golf of this era, I mean, forget about it. I would rather be in a gulag than in the back of one of those. So, it's good back here. This is a good amount of space, a true family sedan, 5'11", not a small guy. I fit back here very, very well, and that is great to see. However, let's take a look at the trunk, and then we'll talk about the looks. Right around the back of the Volkswagen Passat, we do have a button here on the key fob that should pop the trunk, and it is not doing it here today. So that's okay. We can come in here, open this up, and we have a trunk release found in the driver's side door. So now coming around the back here, now that it has been popped, there is a lot of garbage back here. And seems like some type of liner, maybe a liner for, yep, probably the trunk lid. There's the trunk of the Passat. Not a whole lot going on, but plenty of space. Again, bigger than the Jetta, bigger than the Golf. So, natural progression of things, but very, very spacious. I like this as a family sedan. You're gonna be able to fit all the kids' football gear, soccer gear, baseball bag, you know, bat bag, all that stuff. You're gonna be able to fit back here. You're gonna be able to go to college and fit all of your move-in stuff back here. And there you go. These struts are real angry. Look at that. Okay. There you go. Closed up there for the Passat. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I do like how reserved the Passat is. It's not trying to make a statement. It's not trying to make you feel a certain way. It doesn't feel like a modern art exhibit like a lot of modern Volkswagen and German products feel today. I like the look of this. You know, this is very much of the childhood of when I grew up. I remember I was in kindergarten in 2003, and so I'm sure I saw these in the carpool lane and across town when my mom would let me get a slushie or whatever it may be in 2004, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I do have a little bit of warm, you know, nostalgia, certainly, with the exterior of this car, but I don't think it's this overall showstopper. It wasn't really meant to be, but I do miss the era where German cars were very understated. Nowadays, I feel like German cars are very outlandish and bold and in your face. Well, in this era, they weren't, and kind of miss that a little bit. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think actually driving the 2003 Volkswagen Passat GL? Well, I think my feelings still carry through about that engine. I wish it had more power. I wish it had the bigger engine options with it. And I wish I had more features in here. This is a very, very basic car. But that is what Volkswagen was originally intended to be. We all know the origin story of Volkswagen. I don't think I need to go over it here today, but Volkswagen literally translates in German to the people's car. Affordable transportation to move people from one place to another at their own speed. Volkswagens are supposed to be one step up from taking the train or walking. But in the 2000s, we saw this very interesting switch for Volkswagen, and some would say late 80s, early 90s, so let's just stick with the 90s. We started to see a big switch in Volkswagen's ethos and what they brought to the American market, because overseas, they're still the people's brand. They have cars like the Up and the Polo that fill in very, very affordable slots in the market. We don't get those here, and so Volkswagen in the 90s and 2000s started to become somewhat of a luxury brand here in the States. Basically a watered-down version of their growingly popular brand, Audi, which is kind of funny because this actually does have Audi wheels on it from a previous owner, but blah, blah, blah. And so this car actually stays very true to its original intended purpose. Smaller engine, lack of features, cloth seats, simple, not flashy, not braggiose, not crazy. This is a true Volkswagen, but I'm used to Volkswagens of the 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s being more luxury-oriented items. And so I personally feel, or my brain is at least telling me, that there should be more luxury features in here. Why don't I have heated seats? Why don't I have a touchscreen radio? Why don't I have the leather or the bigger engine? And so you end up having this Volkswagen, this overarching umbrella Volkswagen, kind of being in a weird, uncomfortable spot. Are they a luxury brand? Well, kind of now. But they're also really not, because that's what Audi and, of course, obviously Lamborghini, Bugatti, all of these other Volkswagen brands. Porsche is a Volkswagen brand. That is a luxury brand as well. We don't really need Volkswagen to be a luxury brand, but they've been trying to be a luxury brand, and it all started around this time. They wanted to make more money here in the US, so they started to kind of drift up market. We're seeing Mazda do the same thing right now. As of recent, Mazda's cars have been getting more technologically advanced and higher-end materials, and they've sort of been blending and skewing this line between economy car and luxury car brands. And that's what Volkswagen was doing in this era, and that's how I feel about this car. Half my brain says it needs more features and should be nicer, and the other half of my brain says, no, it's a Volkswagen, it's for the people. If you needed a bigger sedan, this is what you did. When you started working, you bought a Golf. When you became manager, you bought a Jetta, and when you became regional manager, you bought a Passat. And if you ever owned the company, well, there was always the Phaeton up above. That was sort of the natural hierarchy of Volkswagen at the time, a somewhat ladder system that the American brands are so well known for. My point being, a lot of word soup going on here, is that I just don't know how to feel about this car. Is it really lacking in features, or is it true to its original self? I don't know. And honestly, I don't know how to feel. But here it is, a 2003 Volkswagen Passat GL. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Ted, not only for letting me borrow his Passat, but pulling me along in his excursion. I also reviewed the excursion that was used to tow in this vehicle a long time ago in the same parking lot if you want to seek that video out. Ted has been absolutely wonderful. He always supplies me with cool, interesting, and unique vehicles, and the Passat is the flavor of the day from Ted Ray. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.